In this podcast episode, Joe Rogan engages in a wide-ranging and deep conversation with guest Priyanka Chopra Jonas. The discussion explores Priyanka's career transitions between Bollywood and Hollywood, her experiences filming a hyperviolent pirate movie, and her insights into history, ancient civilizations, and technology. The dialogue further delves into topics such as the evolution of human beings, ancient mythology and texts, archaeology, AI and its future implications, societal behaviors, and the current state of the world, including issues of war, violence, and human nature. Priyanka Chopra Jonas opens up about her journey as an actor who has successfully crossed over from Bollywood, India's Hindi-language film industry, to Hollywood. She highlights the vast cultural and linguistic diversity of Indian cinema, emphasizing how India has many localized film industries producing thousands of films each year in different languages. She describes Bollywood as the Mumbai-based Hindi industry, but underscores the existence of numerous other film sectors in languages like Telugu, Tamil, Punjabi, Marathi, and more. Discussing the challenges she faced breaking into Western entertainment, Priyanka explains the stereotyping Indian actors often endure and how early roles required exaggerated accents or one-dimensional Indian characters, which she resented. Despite these hurdles, she acknowledges the trailblazing work of some Indian actors before her and talks about her gradual establishment in the Hollywood system. Growing up partly in the United States, she was familiar with Western culture, aiding her eventual transition. Priyanka reflects on her varied career choices, including a stint hosting the Indian version of the show Fear Factor, filmed in Brazil, where she recounts experiences of stunts and physical challenges different from her acting roles. The conversation advances into Priyanka's current work on an ultra-violent pirate film. Joe expresses admiration and slight surprise at the movie's intense graphic nature, noting the highly choreographed and visceral fight scenes involving swords, machetes, and brutal combat. Priyanka enthusiastically explains that while acting out violence is an exhilarating make-believe experience, it also required months of physical preparation, including learning swordplay ambidextrously. She compares the fight choreography to dance sequences common in Bollywood and appreciates the coordination between stunt teams and camera crews, especially when shooting extended one-shot sequences. She elaborates on the practical effects used, such as real sets built to replicate historical environments at the Cayman Islands, and the emphasis on realistic physicality over computer effects. Priyanka shares anecdotes about training with her co-star Carl Urban, who had sword-fighting experience from Lord of the Rings. With several types of swords, ranging from real heavy blades to lightweight props suited for flipping, she mastered complex routines demanding stamina and precision, undergoing intensive fight rehearsals for over 10 hours a day over multiple consecutive days. Priyanka offers a historically informed perspective on piracy, colonial trading companies, and indentured servitude, tying her character's story in the film to the exploitation and displacement experienced by many, especially from India. She discusses the East India Trading Company's vast and sometimes nefarious influence, including its control over India, involvement in the Opium Wars with China, and connections to the slave trade. She highlights the dark history behind corporations wielding extraordinary power, resulting in wars and colonial domination with millions of lives affected. Her character's background as a daughter of indentured servants reflects the real history of young Indians sent to distant lands for forced labor, leading to fractured cultural identities in diasporic communities such as those in the Caribbean and Cayman Islands. Priyanka speaks about the tragic erasure of ancestral history and roots, and the complex identities born from such forced displacements. This leads to broader reflections on the impacts of colonization globally, including how language, religion, and culture have been overwritten through conquest and cultural genocide. Expanding on her personal and cultural experiences, Priyanka discusses India's unparalleled multiculturalism, with over 28 federally recognized languages and hundreds of dialects, along with diverse religious and ethnic communities. She illustrates how Indian faces and identities defy any single stereotype, reflecting millennia of migration, invasion, and cultural exchange. She shares personal anecdotes about her Catholic grandmother from Kerala region, a legacy of colonial conversion, and reflects on the complex layering of identity within Indian society. The significance of ancient Indian texts like the Vedas and references to mystical technologies such as vimanas, described as flying crafts in ancient scriptures, feeds into Priyanka's fascination with the blend of mythology, spirituality, and possible ancient advanced technologies. She frames Indian mythology as a rich tapestry where human and divine stories intertwine, suggesting that some magical descriptions could be early memories of sophisticated technologies. Joe and Priyanka venture into discussions about archaeology, ancient civilizations, and unexplained megastructures worldwide. They trade observations on famed sites like the Khajuraho Temple, carved entirely from stone, the Indus Valley Civilization, Mayan and Aztec ruins, and enormous carved stone heads from pre-Columbian South America, whose origins and people remain mysterious. They ponder the craftsmanship involved and lack of definitive historical records, noting how many ancient sites defy straightforward explanations of how they were constructed with the tools thought to be available at the time. Scientific techniques such as radio Doppler tomography reveal unknown large subterranean structures beneath Egyptian pyramids, inaccessible but suggesting advanced and unexplained technology. They also explore the existence of massive labyrinths, mysterious metallic objects buried underground, and intricate stonework designed for seismic resilience. These phenomena prompt musings about lost ancient knowledge, cycles of civilization rising and falling, and gaps in recorded history. The dialogue shifts toward the evolution of humans and ancient myths, possibly reflecting early experiences or interventions. Priyanka and Joe discuss the rapid and mysterious enlargement of the human brain over millions of years, questioning natural explanations alone for humanity's unique intelligence and appetite for innovation. They explore the possibility of extraterrestrial or otherworldly interventions as suggested in various ancient texts, such as the Book of Enoch's Watchers and Nephilim, Hindu stories of gods and demons interbreeding with humans, and the parallels seen in myths globally. They talk about humans' primal nature, inherited partly from violent primate ancestors like chimpanzees, whose complex social wars eerily mirror human conflict, suggesting a blend of raw survival instincts with potential external influences shaped us. Joe embraces ideas popularized by shows like Ancient Aliens, seeing value in entertaining possibilities beyond conventional archaeology to explain unexplained leaps in civilization and lost knowledge. The episode also covers asteroid impacts and comet strikes throughout Earth's history, including the famous Yucatan asteroid event that ended the age of dinosaurs and other hypothesized later impacts, such as the Younger Dryas event around 11,800 years ago. These cataclysms coincide with mass extinctions and cause abrupt environmental changes that might explain interruptions in human civilization development and lost histories. Joe and Priyanka discuss modern-day phenomena such as the 1908 Tunguska event in Russia, where an aerial explosion flattened vast forest areas, and the vulnerability of Earth's ecosystem to cosmic hazards. They also mention specialists like Randall Carlson, who study these events and connect archaeological mysteries, ancient myths, and geological evidence to hypothesize on lost civilizations wiped out by impulse disasters. The conversation transitions to the current technological revolution, marked by AI, neural interfaces, and rapid innovation. Joe and Priyanka discuss how artificial intelligence is evolving beyond just a tool into a form of non-biological life, learning both human knowledge and flawed behaviors. AI's potential to become sentient, the blending of cultural knowledge with algorithmic logic, and the societal implications of telepathic communication and faster information sharing are explored. Elon Musk's Neuralink and concepts of non-verbal thought communication are cited as near-future possibilities. They voice concerns about AI's darker potentials, including manipulation, hacking, and autonomous decision-making, alongside its capacity to assist humanity. The duo speculates on how previous advanced civilizations might have experienced similar technological breakthroughs that precipitated their downfall, drawing parallels between ancient myths and modern techno-anxieties. The acceleration of technological change in less than a century, from the airplane to the internet and AI, is noted as both impressive and disorienting. Priyanka and Joe also take time to reflect on human behavior, the persistence of violence, war, and societal conflicts across history. They contemplate why, despite increased intelligence, technology, and understanding, humanity continues to engage in brutal conflicts and maintain systems that perpetuate suffering, such as war-driven economies and powerful monopolistic corporations profiting from violence. They analyze human tribal instincts, the role of capitalism and corporations like the East India Trading Company in fostering exploitation, and current global political polarization. Both recognize the desensitization to violence fostered by media saturation and social fragmentation, all while many individuals simply seek safety and stability for their families. They touch on the paradox of technological progress alongside moral failures and the possibility that only further innovation, transparency, and connectivity can reduce large-scale conflict. Throughout the episode, Priyanka shares personal anecdotes about motherhood, navigating career pressures, and living between cultures. She discusses parental protective instincts, how her own upbringing compares with experiences in different places, and the challenges and rewards of raising a 4-year-old in a complex, sometimes threatening world. The conversation touches on shifting social dynamics, such as changing childhood freedoms, the impact of technology and social media on attention spans, how contemporary life is rushed and information overloaded compared to prior generations, and the collective challenge of retaining focus and genuine human connection. Toward the end, the discussion turns philosophical regarding creativity, storytelling, and the human soul in art. Priyanka and Joe debate whether AI can ever replicate the depth of human fragility and emotional truth essential to compelling art forms like music, acting, and literature. While AI can generate sophisticated facsimiles, the uniquely flawed and vulnerable nature of human expression may remain beyond its reach. They both express cautious optimism about technology as a creative tool, but acknowledge the irreplaceable value of human nuance, imperfection, and lived experience in authentic storytelling. This part of the dialogue underscores a broader concern about balancing technological progress with preserving humanity's creative essence. A segment of the conversation highlights the fragility of modern civilization in relation to environmental disasters like California wildfires and the vulnerability of infrastructure such as electric grids. Priyanka recounts experiences with evacuations and the emotional reckoning of losing physical possessions, amplifying appreciation for human connection and basics of survival when confronted with nature's forces. Joe and Priyanka ponder society's over-reliance on technology and the possible catastrophic impacts of power outages or other disruptions. The importance of preparedness, simple survival tools, and maintaining human resilience amid rapid urbanization and digital dependence are raised as crucial topics. Throughout the conversation, references to texts like the Vedic scriptures, Book of Enoch, and Egyptian lore blend with archaeological enigmas to suggest lost knowledge of advanced technologies and possibly otherworldly influences. Several times, Priyanka mentions the mystery of ancient flying machines called vimanas, weaponry described in ancient epics, and other sophisticated artifacts whose construction methods evade conventional explanations. They muse on how oral traditions and mythologies may preserve memories of real events or technologies misinterpreted through the lens of ancient language and passage of time. The interview frequently circles back to the tension between scientific skepticism and acceptance of inexplicable history as part of the human story. Joe and Priyanka discuss the impact of social media and the internet on modern human attention, societal discourse, and patterns of learning. They note how podcasts offer a rare, deeper format for getting to know people beyond superficial media interviews, contrasting this with the often fragmented, crisis-driven, or clickbait-oriented information landscape. The challenge of discerning truth amid misinformation and the fleeting nature of popular interest are explored, alongside the psychological effects of constant digital distractions. Both express a desire to slow down and reflect despite the accelerating pace created by technology. The conversation touches emotionally on themes of memory, legacy, and the ephemeral nature of human creations. Priyanka relates personal stories about cherishing family mementos in moments of crisis, and the profound importance of preserving human stories and connections against the tides of time, destruction, and societal change. They reflect on how future generations might interpret digital and oral histories differently, and the potential reset of civilization after cataclysms erases material culture. This thread underscores a humility about human endeavors and the perennial quest for meaning amid impermanence.